Look at that, Evan. It's another one. We're back. It's back with number 156 of My Cup of Tea. Thank you all for gathering with us today.
Wow, very thankful today. Is it Thanksgiving?
Halfway.
It is crazy how we're in, the middle of May already. 2025 is zooming by. You know what else is zooming by? The end of the school year. I'm almost done.
Hey.
2 weeks left. My last day for teaching is the 22nd, and then I'm free. Freedom. No work all the last week of May, all June, all July, and half of August. Just chilling, me and the floorboards, having fun. This school year has been exhausting. But you know what hasn't? Oh, thank you, Derpy. Teaching is rough. These sixth graders are killing me. Me. It was the end of the school day, and I'm just like, are you guys trying to just like? I didn't say piss me off, because then they'd be like, oh, Mr. Harry, you said piss. But
you said piss.
It's like this one kid, he just farted in the classroom, and it was bad. It was horrendous. I couldn't tell if he farted. I have like a small restroom area in the back of my classroom. And I can't tell if he used that, but either way, it stunk badly. And I had no Febreze because they destroyed my Febreze. Like they left the cap open. I didn't know this could happen. Where like you leave Febreze, like a bottle with a cap. I didn't know if you leave the cap open, like it dries up apparently, because like I was shaking it and I pressed the thing and nothing was coming out. I'm like, why?
I think they used it behind your back. I don't think it dried up. No way.
Maybe they used it behind my back, but like there was still stuff in there. The brain rot generation. Yeah, it's not a great crop of kids this year. Last year surprisingly was worse though. But next year I'm doing high school, and next year I'm doing 9th, 10th. I'm teaching online next year. So it's like 9th through 12th.
Online?
I teach online, yeah. I still don't know how it works. Jalen works in the same facility, so I'll be working in the same building as Jalen next year. Even though he's teaching a different, or he's a counselor, but he'll be doing a different, whatever.
The classes are digital, but you still have to go to the building?
Exactly. Yeah. It's weird. I think because it's called Cincinnati Digital Academy, and apparently like they let go a lot of teachers because they were just staying home, online, staying home, and they weren't doing much. They couldn't be monitored, the teachers. So they want us to be in-house, at least for most of it. We'll see how it happens. We'll see how it goes.
It's going to be in like a storage closet.
Storage closet. He showed me my classroom, or at least when I was doing like the digital interview, he showed me what like it was one of those interviews where I think I already had the position, because he was like showing me like, this is what you would have if you accepted this position. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, shake your finger. Yeah. Yeah. These kids, they really they test me.
I wish I had you as a teacher in my youth.
Yeah. I wish I had you.
Level-headed. You're not just like one of those like miserable teachers who just doesn't try.
Who don't give a fuck. Exactly. I care about some of these kids. If you like, if they anger me, like some of these kids, a lot of them who've been suspended or whatever came back today, and I'm just like, there's no helping you anymore. I can't even do phone calls anymore because like, what's the point? We have 2 weeks left. What's the parent going to do? But it's ridiculous.
Extra credit.
Right? But we are here to talk about Last of Us episode 5. Nathan, it's crazy how after last night, there's only 2 more episodes left. Episode 6 and episode 7.
It's crazy. Sucks. It's still Seattle day 1.
Still Seattle day 1. No, it's day 2 now. It's day 2 now. They went to bed.
Only 2 left is insane.
Disgusting.
Sure. Maybe this is like a hiatus situation. We get the rest of the season later.
Invincible.
Yeah. Is Invincible the only one to do that?
Recently.
Yes.
That's true. Nathan, There's a lot of kids who want to like come to my classroom during lunch just so they can like watch YouTube and talk about stuff. There's a lot of kids who like anime in my grade, so that's cool. We could talk anime, even though they have bad anime opinions. It's fine. It's like, oh, Mr. Harris, we love Tokyo Ghoul. Don't watch that. Tokyo Ghoul sucks. The anime, not the manga.
Wow.
And their favorite My Hero characters are so basic. It's like I like Bakugo, Todoroki. It's like spread out.
So do I.
Everybody loves those two. Anyways,
you just want that fucking that anti-villain shit. You want those bad boys.
My favorite character, I do love Shigaraki. He is one of my favorite characters. Especially
I like Deku.
It's like also there's Deku is a great character, but I've been reading Blue Lock, and there's some Blue Lock fans, the soccer anime, which is really good. But yeah, let's get into last episode 5. After that, we have a lot of cool Marvel news. There was even some Marvel news that dropped today with Spider-Man Noir that I saw after I took my nap today.
Yeah,
pretty cool. So we'll talk about all that kind of Marvel news. What?
Pretty cool nap.
Great nap. It was a great nap.
What you dreamed about? Electric sheep?
No, not the electric sheep. Ooh, Blue Actresses is great. I wouldn't say that's weird. It's pretty shonen, but if anybody has not watched the latest season, Derpy, I don't know if you watched the latest season of Blue Exorcist, but like Blue Exorcist came out like what 10 years ago now. It was one of the first anime I watched. Superman I know, yeah.
We should have waited.
We'll talk about it next Monday for the Superman trailer. But yeah, Blue Exorcist came out 10 years ago, but they've been doing like a recent season starting last year, and Blue Exorcist season 5 or 4, whatever. They just been hitting a great stride. So I'm a huge Blue Exorcist anime fan. But yeah, Superman trailer is gonna be fun. I can't wait to see what they. I tweeted out I want more Lex Luthor in this trailer.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like we got teased about him in all the other teaser trailers, but
yeah, I mean, you know, we got some Clark speaking in the extended clip trailer that came out, the special look, which was cool. But I definitely would like to hear more dialogue from other characters than the supporting cast.
Me too. You know, I would love to see more like Isabella Merced as Hawk Girl. You know, she's on fire recently, so that would be fun. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. But yeah, let's dive into Last of Us season 2, episode 5. I don't have the title.
I think this one was called. What was the thing they tag under the art of the Seraphites tag under the art? I think that's the title, isn't it?
Oh, she guides us.
Something love, right?
Feel her love. Okay, nice, Nathan.
Is that what it's called? I got it.
Yeah.
I actually got into Max today.
Sounds like a song. Feel her love.
I feel her love today.
I would have loved it if they called it like last week was day 1. They should just call this day 2. And then maybe the finale could be called day 3. But this was the shortest episode of the season. This was 45 minutes. I would have liked it if they extended this episode. That was kind of like my only one complaint. I guess I'll say that again when Nathan gets here. But my only one complaint about this episode in particular was the runtime. I think it could have used more time to cook certain sequences. But overall, this was another very, very good episode. Some saying their favorite episode of the season. I really liked day 1, last week's, especially towards the end with the Dina and Ellie confrontation and the song. But this episode had some really great moments as well. Another fascinating, great cold open here. I'll kind of start from there. Because this cold open, Last of Us is always excelling at great opening sequences, opening scenes that really nail the drama between certain characters. And once again, we're elevating the wolves, the storyline of the wolves. I like what season 2 has been doing so far by giving us more information about the wolves and more world building per se. Nathan, I'm talking about the first scene here.
Okay.
I really like this. What?
it is intense. I really like it a lot. A big build up, big focus. I think around not just like the ongoing war between the wolves and the Seraphites that we're running into, but also the looming terror of the spores that are spreading in the world.
Yeah, this is interesting. Iconically, I don't know if that's a word.
It is.
Sure. But like the spores are an iconic aspect of the game, and we haven't been introduced to it. But I do love how season 2 of The Last of Us is diving into the evolution of the cordyceps in a way, an evolution of this disaster. And I think that's so smart to do like an evolution of the disaster. Like we're getting stalkers now in season 2. We're getting spores now in season 2. Maybe season 3 is when we finally get introduced to shamblers. Shamblers was a new evolution of the outbreak in Last of Us Part 2, where Ellie and Abby run into these what are they called? Not bloaters, because bloaters are like the big massive like bloater. Yeah. Shamblers are the ones that come up to you and they just unleash gas. They run up to you, unleash gas, and then they just keep on unleashing gas at you, and just like I hope they can do something like that in season 3, just to showcase another like evolution per season. But if not, that's fine too. But it's so interesting because I think season 2 is predicated upon Joel's choice, Joel's decision, which again we'll get next week when we go to the flashback, and the end of this week where we find out that Ellie actually knew about Joel's choice, which is always a very, very, very interesting fact. That I love that scene in the game because it's like in the game we're still unaware of like what happened between Joel and Ellie, and I guess we are still too. I'm operating under the mindset of the game while watching the show. But if you're strictly watching the show and not the game, you're like, wait a second. Ellie is so gung-ho about killing these killers of Joel, but she already knows like why they did it. Which again, just I'm jumping all over the place. But people were I don't know, so upset by the whole Abby motivation angle. Why are we getting Abby motivation at the beginning of season 2 rather than the beginning of Abby's storyline halfway through the game / story of part 2? And we always said, like, hey, the motivation doesn't matter. Ellie's anger is still there. Abby's anger is still there. Abby's motivation isn't going to dissipate Ellie's anger. And Abby's motivation isn't going to ruin the process of like Abby's storyline. I think people were always, I talked about this in episode 1 and 2, but people were always just like, well, if we get Abby's motivation now, like for an audience member, it kind of like limits the emotional gut punch of Abby's decision. It's like, oh, we understand now, but like, no, like as an audience member, even if I understand what happened with Abby, sorry about killing your dad for Joel, whatever. But like motivation aside, I still want Abby to die for killing my favorite character, Joel. That's how it was in the game, and I'm still very much, I'm different because I've watched the whole story, but like still, that's how my mindset was in the game, is what I'm saying. And as an audience member, it still makes sense to still be like, okay, I still support Ellie here. It's not like you automatically support Abby. You can understand Abby while still not liking what she did. But I think the show did a good job of handling, in my opinion. I forget why I went on that tangent.
Well, I guess Ellie in this.
Yeah. The whole choice angle. I like this whole like this season is like showcasing the impact of Joel's choice by Joel not, saving the world per se and choosing Ellie's life. He created this, and again, we don't know if Joel's choice would have saved them or not, but there was the best shot they had was sacrificing Ellie. And either way, by Joel not doing that, he has caused the world to go into ruin piece by piece. And we see that with the attack on Jackson. And we see that now with the evolution of the cordyceps. cordyceps, which I think, or spores, sorry, which could have happened regardless of the cure or not. But maybe the cure could stop people from dying from the spores. We don't know. But we also see it with the impact of the stalkers as well. Like all these different aspects of the evolution of the cordyceps could have probably been cured with the cure, with Ellie's sacrifice. And Ellie at the end already knowing that like what Joel did, it just elevates that whole scene. But we'll talk about that more in detail later. In general, I go back again to the first scene here at the very end where this parent, who was revealed to be a parent, because she's talking about like, I sent my best soldier there, Leon, and the other girl's talking about like, okay, how did you handle it? Why'd you kill off all these men? She's like, no, I sent them down there and I sent my guy Leon into basement level 1 or 2 or whatever. I think one of those two. And they didn't come back. He radioed in and he was having difficulty breathing. And he said to seal all the doors. And this was so frightening, so chilling. I just love the whole portrayal. The acting was incredible here.
Is this the origin to the surprise?
Yes, Nathan. Yes. I think they mentioned this in a podcast. I was looking out for it. I don't think they said it in the after the episode bit.
Maybe not. But there was a lingering shot when Nora's getting chased. It was Nora, right?
Yeah.
When Nora's getting chased, she does glance at the boarded up room.
Yeah, the boarded up room. I think that was the boarded up room to like B2. So like there's B1 and then B2, basement level 1, basement level 2.
Yeah.
Slight spoilers for season 3 again, or Abby's storyline, but
later in the game, spoilers for the whole game.
Yeah, spoilers for the whole game. But we're gonna get to basement level 3. 1 and 2, are under lock and key because of the spores in this universe. Yeah. And we can assume, I think, given what Neil and Craig were saying, level 3 is for the big Rat King. Which sounds terrifying. If you have no idea what we're talking about, like the Rat King, that word by itself sounds weird. Like what, the Rat King? Like is this something like the Penguin?
Splinter?
Master Splinter? Like what's going on here? But it's disgusting. It's one of the most craziest sequences ever.
If you guys have ever seen the hit horror film Evil Dead Rise in its finale, imagine that times 5.
Hit horror film Evil Dead Rise. Yeah, I remember watching Evil Dead Rise, like, oh, that's very much like the Rat King.
It's a bit invented. Hodgepodge.
It's insane. I cannot wait. And there was a great sentence that the mom says where she was like, we were clearing the area and even the rats were gone. Did you catch that part? Like
no, I didn't catch that.
She mentioned how like the rats were gone, or it was very quick. It was just
maybe I did.
We searched everywhere. There wasn't even a sign of rats. And I was like, where did the rats go? What happened? So this is just I can't wait. And every time if you play as Ellie, I think, is it Ellie or Abby? I can't tell.
It's Abby. I'm pretty sure.
It's Abby when you run into it, but I think you can even you might be able to hear it as Ellie.
Okay.
Maybe.
Like during like your listening mode?
Yeah, during your listening mode. I know you can as Abby. Like before you even get to the Rat King area as Abby, once you're like turning on these like lights and breakers, if you hold down listening mode and there's like a knock against the door, if you hold down listening mode, you can see the Rat King or like the AI.
Yeah, that shit
like standing there.
So unsettling.
It's weird, but it doesn't activate until you get into like the boss arena area.
Yeah. Because even if you see it, you're just like, what the fuck?
You're like, yeah, like, is that a bloater? What shape is that? You can't really tell. But yeah, once you actually see it, it's just like, oh my god!
And it's scary to run away from.
Like season 3 is going to be. I keep saying that because I love Caitlin Dever. It's just going to be incredible. But yeah, in general, again, an excellent cold open. And again, the whole part that really hits it is the gut. That's a gut punch. Is the reveal at the end where she's smoking. She's talking about all this like Leon, and she's like, "You lost a great soldier. I'm so sorry." And then she walks out. And she's like, "I'm sorry about your son." And it's like, oh, like wow, like that was her son. Like that's and then door closed, credits. I'm just like, ooh, what a great. I
noticed Pedro wasn't credited. I was like, oh no.
I know, right? Dang. By the way, Caitlin Dever is nominated now, or she is pursuing a guest actress or guest actor, Emmy nomination, which I think is smart. That's
Cool.
so smart. Because if she was in supporting actress category, I think she would get in the top 5 or top 6 for the Emmy. But now that she's supporting, I looked up the other supporting, or I looked up the guest performer in a drama series category for women, and it's a wrap. It's over. Like the second person was Catherine O'Hara from The Last of Us. I'm like, I mean, yeah, Catherine's great, but like Caitlyn's great, Caitlyn. So I was like, this might be over. This might be over. Which I think would be great as like a great lead into her role in 2027. Which, by the way, it looks like Last of Us is going to be filming next year. Isabella was doing she was talking somewhere and she mentioned like, yeah, I can't wait to go back to filming next year, like next January. I'm just like, oh no, that's not what I wanted. I wanted them filming later this year. I wanted like a fall release date. Not every show can be like Percy Jackson where they're filming like back to back.
Yeah.
But still, I would.
When is the next Percy Jackson season? This year?
Presumably, not presumably, confirmed to be December. Confirmed.
Okay.
So we're getting December. But they're filming season 3 in like August, and I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome.
Boy, I could really use an Ironheart trailer.
Apparently, that's tomorrow. That's what the streets have been saying.
Okay. I was like, didn't we get one? And I was like, oh no, it was like a 45-second Disney Plus sizzle, wasn't it?
Ironheart's coming out next month already. I think like the middle of June 13th.
I'm rooting for it. I don't want it to crumble like Miss Marvel did.
It is part of that era of like rushed Disney Marvel productions, like the Moon Knight, Secret Invasion era.
Well, I mean, there's some hits. I mean, quite a good time with Agatha. I'm pretty sure that was probably in the function.
Agatha was a good surprise. Miss Marvel was a good surprise. But yeah,
I like Knight for what it is.
Decent.
Hawkeye, really enjoy.
I will defend Hawkeye. Yeah, I like him more than Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I really like Falcon and Winter Soldier.
No, you don't.
That was the early steps. That was like they did WandaVision and Loki, and like, come on, that was a triple.
They did like 4 shows back to back.
They did like 5 back to back. They also had Hawkeye and What If.
Yeah.
What If definitely took something, right? Unless they were just like, yeah, let's do
true.
Silly.
Well, What If season 1 probably still the best one because they were like starting off fresh. Yeah. Even though season 2 had like the Native American episodes, which was awesome.
It was a really good one. And then they massacred my boy Strange.
You would never forget that, will you?
I won't, because it was good stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, the redemption for his soul, and they were like, nope, villain. He's still selfish. Damn it. Could have had him in Doomsday.
So where are we at? So after this scene, I want to get your take on this because a lot of people have been saying
they're gay. What?
They are. Yeah. Ellie was looking for
got busy.
Yeah, that was great. I still love how far they went last week with that sex scene. It was great. Yeah. But people have been criticizing Bella's performance as Ellie. I mean, regardless of, I'm not even speaking of the haters here. But like they've been saying like how Ellie has been too happy. Too like I wouldn't say jolly because I wouldn't even say jolly, but like she's been more upbeat and not as depressed as we see Ellie in the games, which I think is fair. But I think there is a big difference here. So before I get into my take, I say that because we get a lot of upbeat Ellie in the beginning of this episode here, while Dina is trying to triangulate, and we get Ellie being like, "What's triangulation? I didn't really study math, all that kind of stuff." Which, by the way, people have been saying, "Are they making Ellie look dumb?" I'm like, I didn't get a sense that Ellie was dumb there. It's just like she didn't understand triangulation. Like, how many people understand triangulation? I don't understand triangulation. I couldn't do that if you put a gun to my head. I can't triangulate to somebody's location. But maybe if you put a gun to my head, I could. But still, if I'm like 16, 15, like I'm not understanding any of that. Early 20s, I don't know. But anyways, Ellie was very much just like, I don't understand what that means. They're cool. You want me to stay? I'll just go do this. Like she was bothering Dina. I thought it was very cute, but people have been saying like, oh, she's acting too immature on top of how she's been acting on day one or last week as well. What are your take on this?
I think it's all dependent on the relationship between Ellie and Dina as to why Ellie is feeling the way she is and how that will differentiate. Because, yeah, she lost Joel. Obviously, she's going through it. She had to go through like the mental capacity of like being in a coma during the time right after he was lost.
Yeah.
Kind of, and a mix of that, and it's not been too long since between like the council meeting and the mission, but she has been processing her grief. Obviously, I think she's more lenient on the rage aspect for revenge. Like, I feel like if Joel was just killed and then Ellie had nothing to go on and she just had to sulk in the reality, then yeah, she would be a wreck, a mess. But because she has the perpetrators, she knows who they are, she can focus her energy on that and lean into the more negative aspects and like the lesson of the story of falling into the cycle of revenge. Mixed with that, I think she also has a balanced uptick with the connection with Dina, a close friend turned lover, turned literal I love you sharing. Like it's a big help to Ellie emotionally. And I think when we get to the point in the story where Ellie and Dina are no longer together on this mission and it's just Ellie going, that's when she's really going to start losing herself and sulking and falling into despair.
Which we saw with this episode, right? Like as soon as Ellie goes on the hospital path, minus Dina and Jesse, we see Ellie crack into her menacing nature. We see, I've been waiting to say this, Nathan, but we see Ellie activated.
Yes.
There we go.
Drink.
I would never get over that, Craig. I don't know what he was on. With that.
I've not been listening to these pods, but damn, I need to get back to them.
It's great. So I totally agree with you. I think because at the same point, Ellie is with Dina in the games, and she still is depressed. And people made a notion how like last week, Ellie in the game, she was like the whole burden scene. We didn't get any burden scene. Sorry about that, but we didn't get any burden scene in the game or in the show, which I thought was fine. I think this Ellie is different than the game. It just is. And I predicate that because Ellie's whole demeanor here is different from the games. Because in the game, and I think this is a big factor that people are forgetting, Ellie, like Joel, people mention how Joel is a badass and he's a ruthless guy in the game. And sure he is, because he's not talking as much in the game versus the show, because it's a game. And in the game, Joel is killing like hundreds of people just via gameplay, right? So the impact of the individual cutscene kills isn't as felt as it would be in a TV show. And I think this is important here because Ellie is not on like a war path in Seattle as much as she is on a war path in the game. Like in the game, she had killed a lot of people prior to even the first the second game starting. She killed more people than she did in what's it called during that cannibal sequence. Ellie killed a lot more people in the game versus the show. But even in the show, Dina asked Ellie about her first kill, and she talked about that, like how that's still affecting Ellie. Ellie was like, I don't want to talk about it. Like I saved Joel, but like there's more to the story there. But I just say that again because like in the show here, she has not experienced her first kill. Unlike the game, in Ellie Day 1, we lose Shimmer. There's a bomb that goes off after we see one of Tommy's torture scenes. A bomb goes off. We lose Shimmer. we got hung up by Jordan, who's not in the show. He seems to be Danny Ramirez, I think that's his name, Falcon. His character seems to be an amalgamation of Jordan and Manny, for better or for worse. We'll see how that happens in season 3. But in the game, Jordan ties her up. Ellie unties herself, kills Jordan. She gets her first taste of revenge. And then she moves on, and they have the whole news station, underground sequence, theater. I'm pregnant. So Ellie she got her first kill, and she's ready to go back outside, to kill again, to follow them again. But she doesn't. She rests, and then day 2 happens, and she kills a lot more people by herself, leading up to Nora. So we're getting a lot more depressed, angrier, Ellie. In the show, though, she's upbeat because she hasn't experienced her first kill yet. She's gotten to this city. She killed a security guard in the news station, but that's about it. I think she hasn't really got her first kill for the sake of Joel yet. I think the unfortunate thing is that we know there's only 2 episodes left, so we can't see the full brunt of how Ellie's going to react post Nora. But like the game, Ellie was shaken up, and I presume Ellie's going to be shaken up as well here, because even more so, because in the game, Ellie killing Nora isn't that big of a deal. I mean, it's impactful, but I would argue it could be more impactful in the show, because in the game, Ellie is killing left and right as a gameplay circumstances.
Yeah,
she killed a lot of Seraphites in the park on the way there. She killed a lot of people in the hospital on the way to kill Nora. Unless you want to sneak through, it all depends on gameplay. Yeah. But most people kill people on the way to Nora, and I'm just saying that like Ellie in the game is much more of a killer than Ellie in the show, and I think that's why she's more upbeat. On top of like everything you said with Dina, she's with Dina. They have a more loving relationship than in the game, so I'm cool with it all. And again, I like the dichotomy. The anger, the sadness, the somber nature of Joel is still there. And that leads into the next sequence when we see Ellie with the theater, which I think was an excellent production design. Production design in this episode, in the season in general, has been outstanding. I see it every week. But wow.
I'm continuously shocked how well they set dress the outer apocalyptic overgrown nature.
Right?
I'm like, where's the set end and the effects begin? Because this is so integrated. Like, wow.
It's stunning, dude. It's stunning. When they walk outside, everything is like, it looks so dirty and nasty and overgrown and real. Yeah. But yeah, the theater set is like 1 for 1. I'm watching Ellie or Bella go through this, and I'm just like, wow. Like, yeah, this is probably easy because like an actual theater in Seattle that they went, or an actual theater in they filmed all this in Vancouver. But you never know. But either way, the set design looked really cool. And then she goes on her guitar. She sees it on the play here, and she starts playing it. And this is just an excellent scene where she starts, she feels the presence of Joel lingering in the room. She starts playing the song, "If I Ever Were to Love You, I'll Surely Lose Myself." It's the beginning of Future Days. And she doesn't play the full song.
She doesn't say the "I'd lose myself" part, which I found interesting because I feel like she is definitely going to.
Great point.
Instead of just fully like reflecting on that lyric, she stops and she falls into that anger of losing Joel, which is ultimately what's consuming her in this journey.
Ooh, okay. I love that point. Because Ellie does really lose herself at the end of this episode, right? She becomes what she hates.
She's as she becomes Abby in like a 1 for 1, like she's beating down Nora, very similar to what Abby just did to Joel in Jackson.
It's so fascinating. Yeah, she can't utter the word "I'll lose myself" because she does lose herself, and she's afraid of similar to Joel. She doesn't admit that. I mean, who would, right?
Yeah. And she could have made it quick. She holstered her gun. She chose to do this.
Oh yeah, she did. So good. We'll get to it. I love that scene. But yeah, it's just I love that scene where it's like, and the camera zooms in on Bella's face, and you see like the energy drain. It reminds me of that scene in episode 3, where she's walking out of the hospital. She's like, "I'm fine, Catherine O'Hara. Like, I'm fine." And she's walking away, and she's like smiling. It's just like you like, see the depression slowly consume her as she leaves the hospital and enters Joel's house. I think Bella did a great job here. Like, she's happy-go-lucky. She's got told, "I love you," whatever. She's playing the guitar, but that anger, that sadness is still residing in her. It's never going to escape.
That's always been like a big thing too about people who are going through intense emotional responses. Grief, trauma, mental health. They'll put on a face, like they'll present like everything is like normal and fine and whatever. Like even in like we're on this mission, it still presents that way. But just because Ellie is presenting that way doesn't mean that's how she's 100% feeling on the inside.
Exactly. I think that's paramount to everything. People experience grief in different ways, and I think this Ellie is experiencing grief in a different way than what people are expecting because they're just going off of the game. But I don't think that's because I think people, again, I hate talking about like criticisms, but I saw some people saying like it's to show not having faith in like the writing to have like a consistently somber Ellie. But I don't think that has anything to do with the faith of the writing. It's just that this Ellie is different. This game is much more emotionally vulnerable. Sorry, this show is much more emotionally vulnerable than the game. I said the same thing about Joel in season 1 and season 2 with the whole therapy angle.
And it's not like Ellie hasn't shown any emotion because, obviously like immediately in the scene when she crawls over to his body, that was very heart-wrenching. But also like I think one of my favorite scenes of this season has been when she went to Joel's house and she just finds his clothes in the closet and just cries at the memory, the scent of his lost self.
It's excellent. And I saw some people saying like, why is Dina more focused on finding Joel and more angry at Joel than Ellie is? And I'm like, are you insane? Like, did you not watch the end of this episode? But anyways, because that leads
no one else care for Joel other than Ellie and Tommy,
and that leads into what we get here. Dina finishes triangulating her location, and they start heading towards the hospital. They immediately come across some dead Seraphites, another figment of the lore of this world of Seattle, this constant warfare. We actually see the actual face of the Prophet. Once again, I'm still curious if we'll ever see the Prophet. We'll get an episode on the Prophet. Part of me, again, same thing I said last week. Part of me wishes they don't. Just keep it mysterious like the game. Part of me wishes they do. I wouldn't be upset either way. With talk of this show going season 3, maybe season 4, I can see it going either way. Which, by the way, what?
It's Ashley Johnson again.
Yeah, that'd be funny as hell. She lived, and then like Ellie's mom is a prophet. But yeah, like the more I think about it again, I'm just like, we are getting each day in like a single episode. So Abby's storyline could be done in a single season. I mean, it obviously is, but the question does become like that part 4 of Last of Us. Is there enough space there for an entire season? 6 episodes for part 4 of Last of Us?
Probably.
Yeah,
it's a big game.
But the sequence in general, the Santa Fe, is it? I don't know where they are at the end of Santa Barbara at the end of part 4 when Ellie goes back.
Francisco.
Yeah.
San Antonio.
We'll see. Because like that could be like
San Andreas.
That could be like 2 to 3 episodes.
That's true.
So we'll see. If next season they could just do season 3 having 12 episodes, and that'd be more than enough to finish Abby's storyline and the game. But we'll see. Anyways, so they come across some Seraphites. It says like feel her love. Then under that you'll see the Wolves Row. Feel this, B. And you saw like 4, 5, 6 dead Seraphites. Just another gruesome murder from the wolves towards the Seraphites. But the Seraphites are not these helpless people as we'll see in the park.
This is our first display of what they do in the season, because all the perspective we've seen is like they've been slaughtered by the wolves. The Isaac's torturing them. We haven't really like seen like what do they do that gets the wolves on edge so much.
Yeah, we're definitely, it's definitely a brutal scene that I really love.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love this upcoming scene here. So Dina and Ellie see the bodies. Dina's like, "Oh man, this is awful, horrific." Ellie immediately is like, "What the fuck am I thinking? Like, you're pregnant. We shouldn't be doing this." I kind of like her having this realization because it's cute to be like, "Oh, I'm a father. Yay, let's go on a mission together." But I like how Ellie is going into it being like, "Wait a second, like, let's take a pause here. Should I even be bringing you along?" And I like Dina's whole response to this. I think Isabella Merced has just been, outstanding this entire season. She's having scene stealing moments every single week, and it's wonderful to see here.
She's got to win the best supporting actress.
I would put her at number one. I don't know where she is right now. I mean, I would love to look that up. Because again, the only competition is like the two ladies from White Lotus. Did you watch White Lotus this season? Are you a White Lotus fan?
I haven't seen any yet. Should I watch it?
I like season 2.
Oh, not 1.
Season 3. Season 3 is solid, but not
is it as crazy as Euphoria?
No. So drama supporting actress, people are still going with Parker Posey. People have Isabella at like not even in the top 7 here, which is astonishing to me. When was this updated for these experts? Because on Gold Derby you can look up like expert opinions. Isabella's like a 4, 3, 4. A lot of people still have Caitlin Deaver here, so they got to take her out. Isabella should be way higher. I'm seeing a lot of.
Caitlin is a phenomenal actress, and she did really great in her episode. But
Caitlin was phenomenal. I see a lot of Caitlin once here.
She absolutely is. But like, oh my god, Isabella is killing it this season.
Yeah, Isabella is not on people's list. This is shocking me.
Well, they need to fucking come back. They voted too early.
What's the date today? May 12th. Yeah, a lot of these say like updated May 8th, and they have the biggest one. Number 1 and 2 is I see a lot of Parker Posey and Carrie Coon from the White Lotus, Allison Janney from the Diplomat. The Pit actresses are on here too. So there's a lot of it's stacked. Poor Isabella is in the stacked category, and Carrie Coon is like a Hollywood legend. So hard to go against Carrie. Anyways, I'm just so floored with Isabella. And my favorite scene in this episode, one of my favorite scenes, is this scene here where Ellie is confronted with like, should I bring Dina along here? Dina responds with a great monologue that I wanted to rewatch. I unfortunately haven't been able to rewatch every episode, but I did rewatch this scene here. I think it was fantastic. She talked to Ellie about how like what do you think about like my past, basically paraphrasing. And Dina says like, you probably already know this, but we might not, but I lived in a cabin in Santa Fe with my mom and my sisters. We kind of lived isolated. We weren't allowed to play outside that much. But one day, I snuck outside and I brought a gun with me because who's going to F with me if I have a gun, right? What could possibly go wrong, right? I come back and then she tells Ellie, you probably know already happens because I don't live in Santa Fe and I don't have a mom or sisters. And she's like, you didn't guess what happened, Ellie. Ellie's like, I think you came back and the killer was gone and your family was dead. And Dina's like, you're half right. My family was dead, but the killer was still there. I was 8 years old. I had a gun. He looked startled. I looked startled, but he was more startled when I shot him and he died. So, Dina's first kill, basically. And this was just a great sequence here. She's not even looking Ellie in the face for half of it, but then she turns around. And then she says, like, now imagine if, or let me see here. She says, what if the MFer made me watch as I as they did it? Would it make a difference if my people had hurt his people first? No. And if I hadn't killed him, if he had gotten away, I would have hunted him down forever. Now I'll go back if you want, but I'll keep going if you want. And then she lets Ellie like pause and think about that. I love the pause in that scene too. The camera again pans on Ellie's face. And it was a fantastic scene. It's doing a couple of different things here. For one, it's like reaffirming Ellie's vengeance in terms of like, I would have hunted that motherfucker down forever, which is Ellie's kind of thing, which is also heartbreaking in the future sense of like knowing what happens. And with Dina reaffirming Ellie's vengeance, Ellie's not going to go with that, kind of giving her permission.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's Ellie getting a glimpse into Dina's darker side, and Dina's determination to help, get those killers who and what they did with Joel. Oh my God, there's a bug in my room.
Oh shit.
I'll kill it here in a second. Even though I have no napkin.
Dude, there was a crazy thing that happened today in my room. It wasn't a bug, but like I have a stack of boxes from when I moved back in, and I was like laying in bed today, and out of nowhere, this like tower of 5 moving boxes just collapsed across my room, and I was like, "What the fuck?" Knocked over my fan and shit. I was like, "What the fuck?" Like it's been stacked there for months, and I'm like, "What? Why?" Okay, restack.
That's weird. What happened?
It was very weird. It just gave, I guess, like the way it was angled, it was just kind of like toppling itself.
That's crazy. But yeah, in general though, I do love this scene here because again, is Dina reaffirming Ellie's vengeance, but also Dina giving Ellie her reason for pursuing this journey. She can feel the anger. She loved Joel as much as Ellie did. And again, she can just feel the anger that Ellie is going through, the trauma that Ellie is going through. Dina was able to kill her killer, but Ellie wasn't. And she understands Ellie's pain. And as a lover for Ellie, she wants to continue on this journey, no matter the consequences. And she says, if I die, that's on me. If I live, that's on me too. Something along those lines. And I like that, it's Dina taking charge of her own life, supporting Ellie. And it's a great sequence here, reaffirming Dina's motivation for doing this, even if she's pregnant. Because it all started with Ellie being worried about Dina's pregnancy. But yeah, how did you like the scene overall? Well, I killed this bug.
I liked it a whole lot. I really do like, as you said, like the caring nature that Ellie has for Dina, but also, and it is like an interesting reversal of Ellie being more cautious and Dina a bit more gung-ho. But I do definitely like that exploration, especially the exploration that they've been doing this season of Dina's connection with Joel, which has been wonderful to see. It does make me intrigued for the future, for like the farmhouse when the things are more settled and we get reintroduced to that cycle of revenge. It makes me wonder like how that'll roll, especially with where the whole game ends in Last of Us 2, which is such a profound ending. And I think about it every time Ellie goes to play guitar, and it hurts my soul. But that's future season 3 and 4 problems. I'm very much looking forward to see the path forward. I can't exactly remember what causes. Well, I guess I do. Yeah, I remember why. It's obvious what causes Dina to no longer be on this journey with Ellie. It's the whole situation with the theater and the confrontation, which I'm intrigued to see when that's going to pop up. Do you feel the season's going to end again with the theater confrontation, or what is how far away is that?
I keep thinking that makes a lot of sense, but I'm still curious about like how they can handle the Owen and Mel thing in one finale episode.
Yeah, what got I forget what gets Abby to the theater in the point of view. But do we even see that point of view of getting her there, or does she randomly pop up over Ellie?
We get Abby's point of view of going to the theater is Abby's day 3 after the end of everything, after
Right.
she sees what happened to Mel and Owen. So that's a very, very end of the game, or towards the end. It's the end of Act 3. But either way, so I don't think we'll get Abby's POV of her entering the theater. I think that kind of be like a surprise, like a 7-second, whatever.
It's a situation where isn't it a situation where like where's Ellie and then we're like surprised, like, oh no.
Yeah, it's
Should have
Ellie.
stayed away, and then we play as Abby, and we get to that point, and then once that those convergence emerge, then we play the battle within the theater.
Yeah, because like Ellie does her day 3. She goes to the aquarium. Long story short, she goes to the aquarium. She kills Owen and Mel. She gets to the theater. She's like shook by what happened. She meets with Jesse and Tommy by that point. And then I think it's the next morning, or maybe it's that night. It's that night. She's talking with Jesse. They're kind of convincing her to go home, maybe. She hears a gunshot. They walk in there. Tommy's on the ground. Jesse gets shot. You should have stayed there. And then we experience all of Abby's days. And then at the end of Abby's days, then she goes to the theater. Then you do the fight sequence when you're fighting Ellie. And then after that is when you go to the farm. So again, very, very end of the game stuff there. So yeah. But yeah, sorry I missed your talk there with the Dina stuff. But yeah, it was an excellent scene. Excellent scene. I think Dina's getting a lot more layers to her character. Because I know people have some worries about, like, she is pregnant. Like, she doesn't go with us in the game. What are they going to make any kind of explanation here? Isn't that kind of stupid and dumb or whatever? But the show's even discussing it, and I think with the show discussing it, we got a great Dina scene out of it. So yeah, then the next part of the episode is just full on intense. I don't have a lot of notes here, but I do love this scene. I think what this season is doing that is superior to season 1, which I think season 1 like a near perfect season for me, is the horror element. There's a horror element in the game have been fantastic, and the horror element in the show have been excellent. Excellent, immersive, intense and immersive action here. As they enter this building is not being, guarded by the WLF. It's between, this building is like kind of what's blocking them from going to the hospital, basically. Yeah. They know, like, what's one reason they couldn't be going in here? Oh, clickers, runners, infected. And they go in there and they meet stalkers. This is a play on the video game, because in the video game for Ellie Day 2, she goes inside the big building and she meets stalkers. It's one of the bigger areas for the stalkers outside of her finding the first stalker in Jackson. And in the game, I always hate this level because it wastes a lot of ammo, especially on the harder difficulty, because it has you waste a lot of ammo because you run into a ton of clickers and stalkers. And what I do on my future playthroughs is I just book it. And because one thing you could do against stalkers is what Ellie does here. You could flank the flanker. But I hate doing that, because if I try and flank one stalker, I'll get stalked by another stalker, because there's always more than one. Or at least as a game player, like, there could be more than one. There's a intrigue there. And if I try and sneak around one, I get snuck up by one, and then everybody comes at me. So my goal is just like create as much noise as possible. I throw something, whatever. And if I see them poke out, then I shoot them. But what I usually do is I just book it. I just run. I'm not supposed to do it, but I just run, because I know at the end of this hallway is the doorway scene where Ellie's trying to open the door, and then to open it in time, a cutscene happened where she falls out the window, she crash lands into the water, and that gets her to the hospital. So yeah, can't really do that in the show. In the show, you have one life to live. And it's astounding how cool the sequence was, because they go in there, they're not really confident. They know there's some craziness going on here. and they see the camera zooms over. You see the one stalker on top of some crates with the
Scary.
eyes, super scary. And I'm like, shoot, yeah.
It was so scary because it was there and it just kind of like dips. It's like, oh, it's on our level now. Fuck. And it did alert me. I was kind of like at a point, turn off your lights, please.
Right? Yeah.
But then they go to look back and then there's two and it's like, uh-oh. Well, that's not good. And then they turn it back around and there's like 5 in front of them there.
This was so scary because like I paused it and Jalen's like, oh my god, like what do you do here, Evan? I'm just like, yo, if I see one, I'm just like, I'm going out in the open and I'm like, let them come at me. If I'm in the open, just come at me, dog. I got guns and weapons. But I told him before I unpaused it, I was like, what could happen here is that there could be more than one and you're just fucked. And what happened? I unpaused it and it's like you said, there's like 5 of them. And I'm just like, oh shit.
Your fault. You pondered this.
I did. I'm like, oh, they're doomed, right? I was like, how do you do 5? Even in a game, like 5 stalkers is really hard. And I'm just like, oh shit. And I like how Ellie locks in here. You know, they mentioned this in the after show, but like Dina has been like the smarter one. She's been helping out Ellie, but in this case, when life and death situation, Ellie is a killer. She knows how to work and be active in this role here. So she immediately locks or tells Dina to like, hey, head for this area, lock yourself in. I'll be the bait. I can't get infected. But holy shit, this was wild because Ellie was about to die. Like, did you see this here? Because like she gets hit by, or she shoots one, she gets tackled by another. And when she's on the ground, before getting saved by Jesse, she's getting bit by like one, and then one's on her like bottom half as well. She's like getting mauled, right? It's like it's like
it was pretty overwhelming on her.
It
was pretty overwhelming. It was really intense. I mean, it was like very like a fast paced. Dina runs out of ammo at the same time.
Oh my god, yes.
And she doesn't have more on her, so her gun's useless, and she's trapped in there, and they're coming through. And it's very alarming, and that just makes Jesse's statement a little later more correct. It's like if he hadn't been there, it was game over, grounded mode.
It's game over. Restart the game. Restart checkpoint. Like this is bad. And I loved seeing this though, because they have been a bit overconfident. Not to say that they weren't not to say that they were overconfident going in this. They knew that there was going to be trouble. But man, it just elevates the danger of Seattle, where they completely would have died. And I don't think this is on their intelligence at all either. They kind of were prepared. They were just simply overwhelmed, which is just wild. I think even if Joel was in this situation, I don't know what Joel would have done better. I think Joel would have just said like, let's just not go in there at all. There might be a different route, maybe not. But that's the danger of Seattle, where the human characters are blocking off all your other routes to maneuver. There's one route to maneuver that's filled with infected. Like, you got to give and take here. What's one way you go here? So yeah, this whole sequence in the whole in this factory was incredible. Jesse coming in, the light shining, Ellie nearly dying. She thinks she sees Joel in the silhouette here, on the verge of death, but it's Jesse who gives her the hand. Love that.
I thought it was gonna be Tommy for a second.
Me too. I was like, Tommy, but it was Jesse. I would have loved it if it was Tommy, because Jesse gives her the hand, not like Terminator, but talk to the Hunt. But gives her the hand just like Joel gives to Abby. It was very like parallel. Give her a hand if you want to live. And it was great here. Jesse comes in. People have been wondering, where's Jesse? Where's Tommy? What's going on here? People still hate the idea of Tommy not being here initially. I, again, don't mind it. I'm going to see how they let it cook. My only biggest worry is that we don't have enough time for everything to soak in. Because because we're residing all of one episode into a flashback, but I think it could be effective. I've heard a lot of praise for episode 6, but I still like. I want to see Ellie interacting with Tommy at the end in episode 7.
Yeah.
I want to see her grappling with Nora's death more. Like, there's a lot to do in episode 7. I don't know what they do.
There definitely is. I do like Jesse's quick alarmment asking Ellie if she was bit, because it's very clearly a yes.
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 of them on her, and she's like, "No, I wasn't bit." I'm like, "Bullshit! You should have like 5
Dina, back
bites
me up.
You should have like 5 bites." But Dina backed me up, and Dina comes in saying like, "Oh no, I saw from here. She didn't get bit." I'm like,
but also if I'm Jesse and I hear that and like we're on the move and like we're on the move and nothing happens to Ellie, I'm like, all right, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, let's book it. Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But
I'm not gonna stay here and do a doctor.
That angle is interesting. They did also, Jesse did confirm that Tommy is out strictly motivated to get Ellie and Dina back because they snuck out.
And that's fascinating, right? Where I would have loved, to be honest, I would have loved to see a Tommy and Maria scene where Tommy and Maria fight about it. Like, I got to go protect her. She's like my daughter, Ellie is. I have to go. I'm sorry. But we didn't get that.
Maybe.
Next time. But Tommy stuck out. Like, Tommy forgoes the community in order to save one person, Ellie. So, because I think they say right that Tommy and Jesse snuck out. They didn't say like, "Hey guys, we're leaving."
I think they weren't approved to come get them. They chose to because they knew that they were missing. Exactly. So to that point, I don't think we'll get a Tommy and Maria scene, but I think we will get Tommy scolding Ellie because of how Maria probably is going to feel about this, which is going to be exponentially worse when he comes back with the wound.
Yeah, right. I think for me, although it is a change, I know people want to see Tommy revenge path Tommy, which I think is a very awesome part of the game. I like, again, what they're doing with this show, where it's much more emotionally relevant. And just it's different. I like different. And I like seeing Tommy be this parental figure to Ellie more so than in the game. And his role as a parental figure has been being challenged. How is he going to be like Joel to Ellie? And he has a responsibility now. And again, I go back to that Catherine O'Hara Tommy scene in the park where he discusses like the difficulty of what Ellie is going through and her lying and like, nature versus nurture. How does Tommy confront that now by seeing the physical action of that, by seeing Ellie actually leave without permission, and he has to go save her? Like you said, like if this gets Tommy in danger, that's gonna make it all the more horrible for Ellie. It was a great save. I'm very curious to see more Tommy, because he said he's on the other side of town, but they agreed to like meet at the theater, right? They agreed to meet at the theater, like in the morning. So they have to rendezvous back at the theater. We see Ellie or Dina and Jesse go there later on, but before that, we entered the park. Loved this part in the game where that's Ellie's first encounter with the Seraphite. You're crouching, you hear the whistle. I can't whistle, but you hear the whistle. It's that quiet.
I got noise suppressed. It was like, oh, background noise, suppress it.
And then they see the first torture sequence of the Seraphites here. I loved this whole sequence. It's very chilling. It's very this cold religious right? This cold religious execution. The WLF, I forget what they're even asking him. I think they're asking him like the location of an attack or something. And
I don't know if they asked him anything.
Maybe they didn't ask him anything.
He was like pleading to like give information, and they were just like, "No, you're a liar."
Yeah. You've lost the love of the goddess or whatever.
She will cleanse his soul.
Yeah, I love how they said it, dude. They're intonations were very fascinating to me.
Yeah.
Especially the lead guy. But
You
yeah,
don't get away, wolf. She sees all.
she sees all. Yeah.
It doesn't see that I'm not a wolf, motherfucker.
So yeah, that was fascinating. As man, a brutal sequence where he's hung up, and as he's getting pulled up, the knife like just crashes through his stomach. It was very interesting, and it was gnarly.
Very.
And I love this whole sequence. It's very terrifying. It's Ellie's first glimpse at like this other sector of Seattle. Like, what the hell is happening here?
Yeah.
But they can't even process that much because the arrow flies in and hits Dina. In the game, it hits Ellie, but this isn't the game.
This is also a good way to knock Dina out of the journey.
100%. Because Dina entering the hospital wouldn't make any sense. So I like this a lot. Dina is kind of like, ooh, I love the pain. Like you just look at it and she's like, it kind of like escalates, like whoa. And it's just like, and yeah, poor Dina. She is out of it after this. Jesse picks her up and they haul as Ellie hides into a nook in a tree, and she manages to escape them. I would have liked this to be a bit longer. Maybe similar to in the news station where she kills like one or two on her way out. I would have loved it if she killed and actually fought a Sarah fight.
Sure. I will say
sequence, but
back with the earlier when Ellie was getting jumped by all the infected, that whole scene, as spooky as it was, did also give me the vibes of a gameplay sequence.
Awesome. I mean, totally. Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
Just like last time with the news station. It really did feel like, oh yeah, I can imagine like putting a player hiding into the cage and trying to defend while someone in the background's like trying to hook shit up. Like, defend limited ammo. Fuck.
Yeah, I would have said traps and everything. That's also another good way to kill stalkers, is to lay traps behind you, because stalkers always fall for like the trap mines. Because like if you enter a room, like I'm gonna put a trap mine behind me, so you don't even have to worry about looking behind you. If I'll hear it if somebody tries to go behind me. But anyways, so yeah, it was super fascinating. We should play Last of Us Part 2 this summer, like commentary wise.
That'd be interesting. That'd be long. What's your quickest time in Last of Us 2?
Quickest time? I don't even know. Probably I can finish it in a week if I play every day. Definitely. Not the longest game. It's like a 13, 15-hour game.
How many chapters?
I have no idea how many chapters there are.
Missions, I don't know. Can't you play chapters when it's all done?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah. Right. Sure.
Yes. Sir, you played 20 times.
But I don't play like chapter by chapter a lot of the time.
You play online.
Yeah. Part 1 online. You can't fucking part 2 online.
How's there no? Well, maybe they're so loyal to the original they don't want to like can it.
No, they tried it. It was called Last of Us Online. It got canceled.
Oh.
It got canceled. I was so sad. Yeah, I remember when Part 2 came out in 2020. The game came out months later. They were like, we've listened to complaints and we are actively working on Last of Us multiplayer. And we were like, yeah. But then a year went by, no news. 2 years go by, and they're like, yeah, PlayStation, we're canceling this. And it was a big bummer because I was looking forward to it so much. PlayStation is doing a lot of bad job with live services. Anyways, so that happened. Another complaint of mine, I think probably my biggest complaint of the episode, is that I would have loved to see a longer entry sequence. It was way too easy for Ellie to get into the hospital. The hospital is like this big, like juggernaut area. We see how heavily guarded it is, and we know Dina already told Ellie where Nora was. Earlier in the episode, Dina tells Ellie that like, hey, I know Nora's on this floor at this area. How do you know all that? These people talk on the radio all the time. It's like, I know exactly where Nora is. Paraphrasing. But like she knew exactly what floor Nora was on. So that's why Ellie is able to get there. I know it was like teased, but at the same time, getting into that area of the hospital still should have been very hard. And I would have loved to see more like a drawn out sequence of like maybe getting into a vent like you do in the game, where Ellie goes to a vent, drops down, and she's like, hey Nora, like, you know, surprise, bitch.
Here's Ellie.
Here's Ellie. So I was just like kind of disappointed that it was just like, boom, here I am, Nora. I'm like, man, I would have loved to see another Nora sequence, maybe Nora talking to somebody prior to that. We know in the game, Nora talks to Abby earlier that day in day 2. Yeah.
It's such a wild concept that Abby's in proximity.
Yeah, I think while this is happening, Abby is what's Abby day 2?
Is she with Mel? Or not Mel? With
she's with Lev and Yara. She might have just recently saved them, or whatever. And that's why she sees Nora, because she needs like medical supplies or whatever.
Man, the whole like village burning sequence.
That's gonna be incredible. It's gonna be incredible. Maybe that's why we're not seeing more Seraphite violent, because a lot of Abby's enemies are Seraphites. And yeah, while Ellie gets the wolves. But yeah,
the Seraphites are bad.
Depend on your perspective. Heroes on both sides. War.
Villains everywhere.
Yeah.
War.
So yeah, but either way, everything after this sequence is 1 for 1 for the game, and no surprise, it is fantastic. And I say 1 for 1, but I think Bella's performance here is equally as menacing and powerful as Ashley Johnson's. You guys can watch like the play-by-play, because a lot of the lines are used here. It's like, you know, where's Abby? You should have killed me. We left you alive. What are you doing here? All the kind of initial confrontation scenes are very similar. I love Tati Gabrielle. Is that her name?
I think so.
You know, I just retweeted her because she's gonna be the biggest star of the next Naughty Dog game.
Oh, right on. Yeah.
Intergalactic. And she says, let's see here. Can't even find her. I see the quote, but they don't even go over her name. But I think it's Tati Gabrielle. Either way, excellent actress, excellent performance here. I don't know what else to say, man. It's just she was so great here talking to Ellie, and she's so confident either. She's not like shivering. She's not scared. She's not like, what the fuck is happening here? She's not overly angry either. She quickly realizes that like we left you a lot. And Ellie's like, you should have, you know, maybe you shouldn't have. And at the end though, she's like, that motherfucker deserved what he got. And it's like, oh shit. She throws water on her. I'm like, what if she threw like hydrochloric acid on that?
That's what I was almost worried that's what it was at least like bleach or something. I was
she's like,
because that's kind of the vibe. I think I figured like there was like bloody clothes she was like bleaching or something. Because
it might have been bleach or something. Yeah,
probably something that would be like a bad effect on the skin, but you could probably live it. Fuck though.
The chase scene, great. Like, kill this motherfucker. If I could send some complaints if people were like, it did cross my mind too. It's just like, why is she not like circling around? You see the two guys who horribly miss. But, like, is there a way for her to circle up and join them? Like, how is she knows the hospital in and out, and she runs 2 dead ends? I think,
well, so did Tommy and Jackson. So
right. That's very true. But part of me is like, maybe that's because they recently blocked off areas, and she's like,
I like to think it's probably that, and also like a mix of panic decision making of where to turn.
Panic decision making and the blocked off area, because she looks she's like, oh fuck. She goes around the corner, and then she is like, oh crap, maybe I have to go through the elevator.
Just like, I don't know if maybe you should just like take your chances fighting in the elevator.
And I think also, I don't know if it was revealed, but like they're packing up, they're getting ready to move out. So that's why there's so many boxes and other stuff like that. They're getting ready to move out because there's going to be a incoming attack that we'll learn about in season 3.
Right.
But she doesn't go on the elevator planning to go down to the lower levels. What I found interesting is that she goes in an elevator and I think she's planning to jump to the next level above, but the elevator creaks and she falls down. She's like, "Oh shit!" I don't think she planned on going to the basement level because she knows that like
she literally had nowhere else to go but this one opening.
Yeah, she goes to the elevator. She looks up and she's ready to like jump, but it buckles and then it falls. And then Ellie gets over there. She opens it up, and then she is forced to go down with Nora there. And holy crap! Oh my god, the best set of the season, I think, Nathan.
I was terrified of how overgrown it was. I was like, this can't be good for anything. Even if you have this sealed, I'm like, oh my god, there has to be like.
Yeah, because it was kind of because they said they sealed off everything, but like once you get to the bottom level, it's like I guess they didn't plan on somebody breaking the elevator.
I'll tell you what was like the most captivating was like seeing the, I guess like mid transformation beings of people who were stuck in it like cocoon style, like xenomorph kind of.
Right, but this big Alien 1 vibes.
Yeah, and then like with each breath, they're breathing a huge strain of spores out into the air.
Disgusting,
disturbing. Very like suffering.
You breathe in oxygen and you breathe out spores.
Oh,
that's disgusting. So we see one guy who's been there, we don't know how long, days, weeks, years. And then Ellie comes across L Park.
Lincoln
Park. Comes across Leon Park, which is the son of the guy at the beginning of the episode.
Yes.
And it's just like, man, given the flashback, we know that was only days ago. So
luckily he wasn't a part of the rat combine.
No, thank God. But it was just again the shot of like the guy against the wall breathing in and then breathing out spores, like that whole like look, the visual design of that, like the visual effects were incredible. The set design looked so gnarly and just terrifying and horrifying.
Another shout out to Aliens for spores use as well.
What?
Another shout out to Alien for spore use as well in Covenant.
Big time. With the flower. Yeah. The whole I love the beginning of Covenant. That part is kind of lit.
It's all lit well.
It is a very well shot movie. Great cinematography. And then finally we hear the coughing. We see Nora. And Nathan, I adored this scene as well. Arguably more than the game, even though the game one is iconic as well. I'm sorry. I know I'm gonna get hit with that.
Equal footing.
But again, what I like here is that we, contrary to the game, in the game we have been killing nonstop. We get to Nora, and Ellie's rage is Ellie's rage. It's not something new to us. It's like dark because we're like, oh wow, like this is a personal, like up close and personal, when usually it's just like quick kills. That's what makes it so terrifying. And then Ashley Johnson's cadence during it all is very menacing. But I like seeing the dichotomy. Maybe that's what I prefer more, is like that jump, that dichotomy from what we're used to. Beginning of the episode, she's all happy with with Dina. I love you. It's all good. But we get the glimpse of darkness with the music scene, and we see the brunt of the rage she is activated in this final sequence with Nora. She goes full on shocker, like, I will find you.
You can't escape me. I'll chase you to the ends of the earth. It's so
rent was due.
He definitely got paid the same. But he locked in. That said though, big Starkiller base vibe. Big only red lighting.
I did not get Starkiller base vibe, but you're right.
It's your favorite comparison with lighting. It's
I love that scene.
Lighting.
I love that scene in TFA where the light disappears from Ben's face. It's peak. JJ can cook? Question mark.
Yes.
I miss you, JJ. What's his next film? He got Glenn Powell and what's
Hey,
it called? Jenna Ortega in the next movie.
he didn't write Tross, did he?
He co-writer. Right? He was co-writer with
Or-
that BVS writer. What's his name? Chris something?
David Goyer?
No.
Chris.
I know people were not happy with the guy. BVS writer. Chris Terrio.
Chris Terry, that's right. Okay. Yeah, that's writer of the town.
What's he been doing recently? He wrote Argo. That's like his claim to fame.
Argo. I knew it was Affleck. Oscar.
Him and JJ have disappeared since Tross. Tross killed these two. Wow.
Which is crazy because JJ has so many hits.
He did. He was on a run, man. Star Trek 2009, 2013 Into Darkness, 2015
Mission Impossible 3 was
Impossible
3, I feel like. 2006.
2006. Yeah, that was his first one. Super 8. He was on a run there, and then he was doing TV shows, but now he just disappeared. Anyways, I love this entire scene, man. And I was worried that as she's like angrily talking to Nora, I was like, is she not going to pick up the pipe? Are we not going to see the pipe? She turns around, picks up the pipe. I'm like, okay. In the game, we don't see her beat Nora at all. We see the pipe. I can make this quick, or I can make this painful. She refuses, and that's when the music ramps up. Ellie stands up, and then I think it cuts to black.
I think you see her get one. I don't think you cut back to Nora, but I think you do hear her scream at one hit.
I'm gonna look it up right now. Nora's scene, The Last of Us game. I'm gonna look it up right now.
Uploaded by sickos.
Let's see what happens here. Ellie kills Nora.
Oh, in the game.
Ellie goes over there. They're talking. You Firefly. There are no Fireflies anymore. Let's see here. Because I can make it quick, I can make it much, much worse. Do you know what he did? So yeah, this is your last chance. She stands up. Nora coughs. I'm not gonna give up my friend. Good job, Nora. I would have forwarded. Fuck Abby.
Well, you were already infected by spores. Or was she infected in the game? Or
yeah, she's dying in the game. So yeah. Oh yeah. You press square. You press square.
Right. It makes you.
Oh wait. So you hit her. Oh wait, never mind. Oh, yeah, this might be more brutal than the show. You don't see it though. You see her getting you. The camera is panning towards Ellie as you press square, and each time you press square, blood splatters as she hits Nora. You do it twice. You do it a third time, and cut.
I like when games make you do something that
you don't want to
probably uncomfortable to do, and then like you just from one tap of the action, it's very drawn out to feel the impact.
And that's pretty much the epitome of what happened in Last of Us Part 2. You're forced to do a lot of things that you don't want to do. Primarily that scene, the whole Abby versus Ellie scene, twice. Those are the ones that come to mind.
Games are so fun, man.
They are. I love the way that Last of Us challenges you. This one, we see her like not hitting her across the face, but just like hitting her in the leg, beating her in the leg. Which is still dark. It's similar to what happened with Abby. I think that's what they're going for there. Abby starts brutally beating up Joel's leg, even after she shot him in the leg. So yeah, we see Ellie just beating up Abby. It's just Ellie beating up Nora. It's a brutal sequence. I love the menace in Bella's voice, the darkness, the slow drawl of her voice there. It's super astonishing, super creepy and eerie. The red lighting elevating the entire sequence. And then, cut to black again. How do you like this part, dude? Because I love the whole Nora scene. Cut to black, soak it in. I maybe would have liked the credits there, but I also do like seeing Joel at the end here. We get a quick tease of Ellie waking up. This is a flashback. She sees Joel. Spoiler alert, it's her birthday. So do you like it ending on Joel here? Would you rather had it end on the Nora death? are you of either way?
I am happy, and not just to see him. I am happy that it ends on Joel because it tees up the loss of innocence that the scene we just witnessed. I think it does. I think you're
Great
seeing Ellie
point.
fall into this dark evil, paralleling Abby, which is all a cycle of horrible, and just like losing herself and like literally becoming what she's hunting, and then it immediately cutting to more peaceful times where they're going to have a lot more connectivity. But even then, like the thought, which I think will like be echoed, I think it's echoed in the scene when they're doing the whole flashback, and I think Ellie sees the mural for the Fireflies, right? The fact that they're not around anymore, and that lingering feeling. Realize, we're having like such a happy moment. This flashback, this experience, it's like a little like get over the wall situation, that little gameplay stuff. But otherwise, it's mostly exploring. It's fun, but it is also all built on Joel's massacre of the Fireflies, because had he not done that, we would not have this sequence, which is beautiful, which is amazing between the two, but it's built on blood, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think again that's what the season has always been about. Season 2 has been maneuvering around this choice that Joel made at the end of season 1. And yeah, I think you convinced me, because I at one point I was like, man, I would have loved it if just boom, credits, like let us sit in that depression. But I do like the Joel aspect as well, because it, again, that dichotomy, it just juxtaposes Ellie's anger with like, oh man, this is how she used to be, and now look at where she's at now. It's a great switch up there, and we're gonna see how we got to somebody, or how we got to that point. And the biggest part was that, again, Nora says like, do you know what he did? You're the girl. You're the cure. I love that line so much. Like, you're the cure, and you're alive. Like, you are. There was because for them it could have been a rumor, right? That there might have been some girl they could have found a cure, but Nora's looking at her in the flesh, and you're like, do you realize?
Looking at her, and she's breathing in the spores and is not flinching at all.
Not flinching, and it's crazy. It's a great sequence, and the way Bella says, like, I know, it's like so
Emmy.
Cool. Like, wow, this is mind blowing. Again, if you haven't played the game, watching the show, you're like, Ellie has been so angry. I'm gonna kill you all. But now we know that Ellie knew what Joel did.
Yeah,
and maybe that's why she was so angry at him in episode 1. But if that's the case, why is she still so angry with finding the people that killed Joel? It's a great thing. I mean, the simple answer is that, like, regardless of her being upset at Joel for the lie he told her, she still very much loved Joel. Like, again, how far are you willing to go for the people that you love?
But then it is also established the day Joel dies that they are chill. And
they are chill.
We'll come to find that. Do you still think that they're going to end the season with that scene, or do you think they'll wait?
Great question. I think we're getting it next week. I've been saying it. I think we're just getting it next week. I think if next week, as an episode, if you want to focus in on the reason why Joel and Ellie split apart, we get their loving birthday. Why do they split apart? We're getting the whole museum sequence. We're getting the, like, you swore to me scene in Utah, which I love. We're seeing that separation. We're seeing the Eugene stuff. That's going to happen next week too, I bet. Because the scene in this episode, he's like, just stay behind me or whatever. But whatever. I think at the end, episode 6, we get the porch scene. Or they could put it in episode 7. But again, I think this season is all about the separation between Joel and Ellie. Why Ellie is so, on this vengeance path in the first place. Her connection to Joel. It has to be cemented this season. Her connection to Joel has to be cemented this season. The audience has to realize, did they have that confrontation? She says she didn't in episode 3, but, like, is that true or not? But that connection, that theme of reconciliation, of vengeance is still going to continue in season 3, but season 3 is going to have less Ellie. Season 2 has all been about Joel's choice and how Ellie was impacted by it. And I think to cement that, to make it a compelling single season, just put the porch scene here as much as I want them to wait. But the story has already been so different, right? Like the structure is already different and the same. It's the same in the sense that we're getting Ellie day 2, Ellie day 1, and we're not seeing much of Abby. I always thought they would intersect Abby and Ellie a little bit, but they haven't. Kaylin is a guest actress. That being said, so yeah, I just think we're gonna get it in episode 6, maybe episode 7, but it's gonna be in this season. Because season 3, if you put it in season 3, it's not gonna have anything. It can't even be season 3. It might be season 4 because it happens the very last minutes of the game. Literally, you get that flashback. Again, spoilers. You get that flashback. You spare Abby. The next cutscene is a 2-minute sequence of Ellie alone at home. She walks off. Credits. Literally, it's one of the last few minutes of the entire game. I think, unfortunately, you have to change it. And when Ellie is almost killing Abby, you'll have to do something else. But you mentioned, we've been already theorizing, they could do a number of different scenes that could kind of fit Ellie sparing Abby.
I would more so
as well.
Yeah, I think you can maybe do a mix. I think they can save it for a lot later, but I think you can keep teasing the scene. I think kind of similar to what we did in the first couple episodes. I don't remember how long it was on screen. I know it was showcasing Ellie going home after the dance. And then we didn't see the scene. But I think if we put Ellie in some high stress situations where she is either like maybe she gets beat to a pulp and like she's seeing flashes of history, or if you have sequences where she is sulking, she's alone, and like the emotions are getting to her, and then you just see like flashes of the porch. Maybe she's like looking at a guitar, and then she gets like a flash for like 2 seconds of Joel on the porch smiling, and then just remembering why she's doing this while also missing him so much and feeling so alone when she's on her single person journey. I think you could do that and have like the little crumbs spread out and just like what is the porch? What happened with the porch? What is like? Why do we keep? I think if you have the audience asking why we keep seeing this porch sequence glimpsed at, it would like bring in like there must have been something, because you can piece together as a viewer, everyone's saying, oh, they weren't on good terms, and now suddenly they are. This must be a correlation. What happened here? Obviously, you can look it up if you just go watch a game cutscene, but if you're just a normal viewer and you're just like pondering it, I think when you get there, you can leave it for that emotional reveal, and it'll hit all the more.
Yeah, I think that could work. But again, I feel like it's so far away, and there's only so much teasing that happened before. As an audience member, I'm just like, I don't care anymore. You keep teasing me, I don't care anymore. This happens in anime sometimes too, other shows in general, where there's a certain reveal. For example, I think I don't want to spoil because you haven't gotten to it yet, but like, there's a certain reveal in My Hero where I'm just like, everybody knows X is X already, so it's just like, just tell us. But there've been so many teases that I'm just like, I don't care anymore.
I'm Zoom.
That could. Oh yeah, that's a good one for Flash as well. It's just like people had already theorized it and they kept teasing. But when it happens, it's just like, okay, cool. So I think for this one, the season is already so predicated upon Joel and Ellie. We're literally getting a whole flashback episode about Joel and Ellie. Just do it now. Just do it now. Just show it to us now. It'll hit. It's a fantastic scene. It'll still hit. It'll still hit the same. I mean, it'll hit differently, but it'll just be placed differently. Because again, the structure is kind of different what they're doing here. They're skipping around certain levels. We didn't get Hillcrest in this day 2. We didn't get Jesse and Ellie on the car sequence. There's a lot less action, but that's game versus TV show. I'm cool with that. But in general, we've been following the same playbook while following semi-similar different structures. I'm cool with this. Even though initially I would not be cool. But just again, looking at the structure of a TV show, I think it's time to rip the Band-Aid next week. But again, my episode 7 worries are still there. I'm just like, we have to reunite with Tommy, reunite with Jesse, and even though I think we're just going to cut to Ellie being in the theater with Jesse and Nora, sorry, Jesse and Dina. Pregnancy reveal, Tommy and Ellie conversation. And then do they have time for the entire aquarium ride? You can make it very quick because they skipped over a lot of stuff. They could just fast forward to like, hey, we found Mel and Nora, or we found Mel and Owen at the aquarium. Ellie getting there. I don't know. They could do it, but I'll give my more theories once we get a preview on for at the end of next week. So I have more of a say next week. But we got to move on. This was a longer conversation than I expected. But I really love this episode. I think it was really good. The anger, the menace people have been waiting for Ellie has finally shown. I think Bella did an exemplary job conveying that menace and that anger, that darkness. She was activated. But yeah, let's jump into some news before we watch some trailers. So news, then trailers. Sure. Jake Schreier. I think that's how you say his last name. Schreier.
It's definitely how it's spelled. It's in the title.
He is in talks to direct the next X-Men movie, which, if people forget, is coming sooner than later. Jeff Snyder theorized it could be coming right after Secret Wars in 2027, which would mean it would be the June or July, the July 2027 date. Because all we know so far for 2027 is May is Secret Wars, July is blank, and I think there's a February movie for 2027. I think.
Blade.
Let me look. I always got to do this. Marvel 2027 dates. Yeah, Blade. Blade's not happening, buddy.
Maybe after the overhaul, it will.
Oh, never mind. In May it's May, July, and November for 2027. There is no February one. So yeah, May is Secret Wars. July is blank. November is blank. July could be the X-Men movie, or it could be November. The other one could be Black Panther 3, even though the Black Panther 3 release date is February 2028 for the rumored Black Panther release date, which would align with with the first Black Panther coming in Black History Month.
Second one was November, though, and it did pretty well.
One was November, but having seen that Ryan Coogler just finished doing Sinners, he is still writing Black Panther 3. We know Black Panther 3 is his next movie. He confirmed that. Coming in with Denzel Washington. If he's writing it now, it's 2025. They'll start filming it in 2026. It could make the 2027 date. Yeah, it could. But anyways, the big news here, Jake Schreier, X-Men film is coming sooner than later. That's why we're talking about the director now. Nathan, Thunderbolts came out. We talked about it a lot last week. We both really, really liked it. It's one of our new favorites, easily top 15, which is crazy to say.
Top 10 for me.
Top 10 for Nathan. Marvel movie. What are your thoughts on Jake doing X-Men?
It's delightful news. Because not only was he able to direct the different individual aspects of the characters of Thunderbolts that all come from different walks of life, but he was able to both highlight and just have them function together very well, even the ones that didn't pair, which that was a start, like the majority of them did not pair well together, and I think that is great for dynamics for like Wolverine and Cyclops, if for using them, just pulling those ideas. There's so many different characters of the X-Men that you could pull. I would love if they just went like the full like 97 roster. I think that would be like a good pull to function off of.
Say that again? You said X-Men 97 characters?
Yeah, I mean, like if they wanted to do that roster of X-Men,
gotcha.
or whatever, they may do like the if they want to do the first class angle again, maybe. I don't know what they're gonna do, or how young they'll make Scott and Jean versus like if you want to get somebody like Jubilee in, so they'd have to be like a little bit older. It could probably be like a freshman senior age gap scenario, maybe that could maybe work.
That's kind of what I'm hoping for. You know me, I love the high school dynamic when it comes to X-Men, so I kind of would prefer that.
Yeah,
But at the same time, I do like the aspect of like older Gene and Scott, younger
yeah,
rest of the cast.
I do too. And I would definitely like to explore that. In regards with Thunderbolts, though, I think it was just also directed very well. I really like the choreography of the fighting mixed with just the different camera work. The cinematography was really good. The lighting itself was beautiful. It's some of the best lighting we've had in Marvel in quite some time. And I feel like there is an interesting element explored whenever the X-Men powers are explored in a bit more of a horrific light at times, and I know that he can pull off some horror elements with what he did with the Void. So I feel like this is a great blend and a great mix of all these different aspects of directing, character work, and team dynamics. That this seems like a very clear cut and dry pick to move forward with the X-Men. Like, he knows he works well with the Marvel team, and he's proven himself with handling an ensemble of different caliber.
I agree with everything you said, man. I think Marvel, this is classic Marvel, right? They like a director so much, keep them, keep them, keep them, keep them. The latest one we saw that with was Destin Daniel Cretton, who came out the
Yeah.
gate swinging hard. He came out from the indie scene, making short term 12, which I love.
Yeah.
And then he came out here with Shang-Chi, which I also love. Top 10 Marvel film easily for me.
Yeah. They were going to give him Avengers 5.
Right? He was going to do the second Shang-Chi film. He was going to do Avengers 5. But then they were like, you know what? We've been having difficulties doing that. We haven't wrote it yet, Daniel. Sorry.
We want to keep you employed, though. Here's Spider-Man.
He's Spider-Man, the biggest superhero of all time. Top 3.
Yes, Marvel.
So Marvel, yeah. Best Marvel hero. So it's just like they obviously love him. Oh, also, he's a producer for Power Man coming out this year with not Coleman Domingo, but Yahya Abdul.
That's right.
He is producer of Power Man, and he was going to produce that Shang-Chi spinoff that might have been canceled.
Right. Also, Matt Shakman going from WandaVision to Fantastic Four, which is
Matt Shakman's a big one too. Yeah,
is looking to be a beautiful blend of progression. Like that's an actual example we're seeing moving forward in its completion.
Yeah, Matt Shakman doing WandaVision. What is this WandaVision? It was WandaVision and Fantastic Four. What else has he done in between that?
I think that's it for Marvel. I don't know if he had any other individual projects. I don't think he did.
Was he involved with Loki?
No, I think.
Who did Loki?
The writers of Loki went into Multiverse of Madness, and then we're gonna do maybe some stuff on Avengers. Also, I think the biggest example also is like the Russo brothers doing 2 Cap films. Like they did Winter Soldier, Civil War, which was like, can you handle the Avengers together? And it's like, oh yeah, you absolutely can. We're gonna do Infinity War and Endgame for you guys.
Yeah, it just kept on going and going and going. But yeah, I'm super happy for Jake and everything he was saying. So like on top of it's a sign of Marvel having faith in him, a great collaborative process. That means like the filming went well for Thunderbolts. They finished on time. The reception is great. Even Bob Iger came out recently and been like, Thunderbolts is the first step in our, reworking of Marvel Studios. Because Marvel Studios has had a lot of trouble with the Disney Plus era in terms of like not having the same quality. It's been quantity over quality for them. With the Echo, Secret Invasion, the Daredevil chaos, Moon Knight. Mixed reactions. Like it's been a lot of like mixed to middling reactions to bad reactions when you get to Secret Invasion. Like we've heard the horror stories of people not being able to communicate well with Kevin Feige because he was so overloaded. Thunderbolts, they said, Feige, Iger have said, like, this is the first step in our, process here to getting back into, what we did in earlier phases.
And not to suggest that like other Marvel movies and projects don't have like really fun dynamics with the cast behind the scenes, but Thunderbolts has so many fun little behind the scenes stuff that has like been coming out of like group photos and camaraderie and like videos, and just like the cast having like such a blast together, which I think is just also really important to have, especially if you do something like X-Men, having this big team that's effectively like a big extended family functioning well, not just on screen but off screen as well. I think it's good for the dynamics all around.
100%. And like you mentioned, Jake did a great job with the horror element, the direction of it all. But along the same lines, like he understood, like I think an easy thing to compare would just be like, oh, Jake understood the mental anguish that each member of the Thunderbolts would go into. He's a mental health, it was a mental health Marvel movie. People have been saying that.
It is, yeah.
So yeah, like he could obviously bring that sensibility to X-Men, which is all about mental health and dealing with the trauma of new powers. But I think that works for Thunderbolts. Not saying that X-Men isn't going to be mental health, but I think what it shows is that he understood what each Thunderbolt character was going through, mental health or not. And I think he, as a director, he would understand what each X-Men character is going through, just on a character level. Not saying that like X-Men is going to be another mental health movie similar to Thunderbolts. I just mean that Thunderbolts or X-Men could be, with Jake at the helm, he's going to understand each individual angle for each character. I think that's the beauty of Thunderbolts. He understood what each character was going through. And I think he would understand well what each character is going through in an X-Men film, which is always super important. Because with the X-Men, like any side character can be one person's favorite character. That's what's so difficult with X-Men, where it's just like, you can go in, wanting to see the best for Storm or the best for like Quicksilver or whatever, for example, or Logan or whatever. Each character should have a lot of depth to it in an X-Men film, which is very hard, but they've managed to do it with X2 and Days of Future Past, etc.
It's like if you look comparatively, like the character of Rogue, like in regards to the trilogy, like she's effectively like a front runner, like focused in the first film, but then 2 or 3, like she lessens more and more, which is unfortunate. But like if I looked at X-Men 97, even if I'm just going off of that season, I'm like, wow, there is so much character in Rogue and her connection with Gambit and Eric, and it's so
right. And she wasn't even the main character. Like there was so much for Logan, so much for Jean, so much for Scott, so much for Rogue and Professor X. Like every character got their shine. Granted, it was a TV show; they had more time, but like I think that's the kind of sensibility you need to have going into this next X-Men film. For better or for worse, one of the best Marvel shows, period, has dropped in X-Men 97. So it's a very, very high bar. And we're getting season 2 next year, so it's going to be even more in people's minds. So, man, I can't wait. But yeah, man, I think this is a great fit. You can obviously tell they had a great time working together, Jake and Marvel Studios. So I'm happy about this. And hopefully we get more casting going into this year, next year. I think 2027 is a real possibility for the next X-Men movie. And if that happens, if we're already getting director talks, like hopefully we get maybe something at Comic-Con this year.
Some cast
at Comic-Con. That'd be really cool. Saying like coming next year, guys, boom. That'd be really cool. But what else do we have here? Let me stick with casting. Liza Colon Zayas from The Bear. You watched The Bear, right?
Yeah.
She plays Lisa in The Bear. And she's excellent. She has been cast. Is it rumored to be cast or confirmed? I think it's confirmed. To be in Brand New Day, Spider-Man, Brand New Day. The easy thing is she playing Rio Morales, Miles' mom? That's the big rumor. What do you think? For me, it seems to be too old for casting. But it could be. I don't know how old Miles is in this universe.
It depends on like how old are they making Miles? Because
Because she's like what? She's like. I'm not saying she's old guys. I'm just saying like
Yeah.
she's in her late. She's in her late 50s, I think.
People brought up, yeah, she is. People brought up that she has a child in The Bear. How old is her son on that show?
I forgot she has a child in The Bear.
I haven't seen season 3 yet.
Maybe season. You didn't miss much. I'm kidding. It's not that bad. It's just not memorable.
Okay.
But maybe
No
I think he has to be like maybe in his 20s. I think because if she's like 50s
on The Bear.
Know, I think her son would be in his 20s and maybe late teens.
Okay. I mean, I guess like if we were to make Miles like 15, I think what would that place her age? I think it would be like late 30s having Miles, which is possible. You could also just to say she's a couple years younger, and it's like when she had him, it's like yeah, sure.
Lisa portrays the character of Teresa, who is the mother of Richard in The Bear. I don't know. I can't find the image.
Lisa's son, The Bear.
That's just a bullshit AI crap. It might not be true.
But yeah, I mean, it does sound interesting. People don't like to be like, oh, look at you making super connections, but like this is the fucking MCU. It's kind of founded on that.
Right.
You know, in regards to recently I had a fun Easter egg in Officer Morales mentioned in Daredevil episode 3, and Daredevil and Spider-Man have a big connection in stories. So
she plays Tina in The Bear, by the way. Sorry to cut you off.
Tina, all good. So I mean, like, if you have like, if they are trying to set up Miles, and it's like this could be Rio, and we have Jeff mentioned, and they want to like start teeing them up, I guess so. I've always been kind of apprehensive of having Miles right now because Peter's just entering his first year of college right now. And granted, I don't because Peter was real young in the Ultimate Comics, right? Like what's
Peter?
Yeah,
he
dies, but like
normal high school, like freshman, sophomore, senior, or junior.
And how soon does Miles become Spider-Man after Peter dies? Does he get powers after? Does he get it just before and get a little bit of tips, or in the initial run?
I think just before.
Just before Peter dies. Was it like a 2 Spider-Man run around situation? It's like, you're not me.
I don't think so. But I know he starts saving the day after his death.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually become a hero until after his death.
Yeah, but it's never like a mentor situation on like the first run.
I don't think so. Think so.
But I feel like that's definitely something they want to try in.
The mentor stuff happened when he came to the 616 universe.
Okay, yeah, and then Insomniac making that a big stuff as well recently, and into the Spider-Verse animation. So I feel like that is, with how like ingrained that is in the current stories, I feel like that is something that the MCU would probably want to explore with Peter and Miles.
That would be a fun third arc. Like, we got first arc.
I agree. Yeah, we've also like we want the college trilogy, and then we do the Miles, and I'm a sicko because I'm also championing like do the Peter death because it would hit just as hard as Tony.
I think Tom would want that too. He's like, please get me out of
here. I just want to live with Zendaya, please.
I mean, fair.
But also, Zendaya will be in all of these movies as long as he is.
Right? Yeah. Good point.
Which is good. But yeah, I'm just like at a place where like Tom, even though Tom is like almost 30 at this point, he has been playing Peter as such a young essence that like I only see Peter as like that high school level polite Mr. person.
Yeah.
I want him to have like that bit of like a hopefully he can like grow into that if he's going through a journey of like the loneliness that they tried to do the symbiote arc and stuff through Secret Wars. I would be open to that, to like change his image to like more that older demeanor in his college era, that I would buy him being a little bit older to actually mentor like a 15-year-old Miles.
Yeah, I would completely buy it, especially when we get to the later part of this. Everything we've been hearing about Brand New Day is that like Destin went in saying like no multiverse. I don't want that in my movie. And hopefully that remains the case.
Miles doesn't mean it's multiverse.
No, not at all. But what I'm saying is like, I know Destin's gonna want this first film to be like stand alone, do his thing, tease. Obviously start teasing Miles. But again, I still want Miles to be a full character. Maybe in Spider-Man 5. But then
maybe. I mean, I
maybe
wouldn't mind if they wanted to just like tee up. He's around in a neighborhood in Brooklyn. Like, okay, and it just is a kid named Miles, and he's not bitten yet. But because there's also been like a lot of like push and like I think it might be in some comic runs, but especially it has been in like some Marvel cartoons as well, where it's just like here's Peter and Miles and Gwen, and they're all like equal age, and they're all spider people saving the day together, and they're friends, and it's a friend group, and I'm like, that's odd.
That's in that one kid TV show, Spider Heroes or something like that.
Well, yeah, not just that, but I think the most recent like Marvel Spider-Man like 2017 run did that, and it was like, oh, okay, and not many people are big on that one, but they were doing that. I don't know if they're gonna continue something like that. I mean, they tend to take Spider-Man criticism pretty well when adapting the movies, especially when it comes to something like comics. They literally took the most hated comic, One More Day, and made it the most like perfect 180 wrap up of the trilogy for Tom.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. All I have to say, like, I'm with you. I think her playing Rio, I think we're in agreement, could work.
Yeah, I think she would be great. There was also something going around in regards to Brand New Day as well. It's like once again the idea of Somewhere with the Villain is like they're exploring once again casting a older woman, I think around her 50s, but her wardrobe was described as being like a combination of Japanese inspired garb with some elements of technical elements built into it as well. I don't know what hero or villain that reflects in the comics, but that is a rumor that's going around. They also said they were studying some Japanese influences as well, which made me wonder if that's going to go into anything with the Mr. Negative and the gang. I don't know. Is that Japanese based? That or is it Chinese?
Yeah, I don't want to fuck that up.
Right.
I think it might be Chinese actually.
I feel like it is with I feel like it might be
with the whole Chinatown angle. If that's the case, maybe the rumors are wrong, and it's like the woman is Chinese based, not Japanese based.
Because there has been rumor that Mr. Negative is being cast as well.
Yeah, that would be for a great villain.
Yeah, totally. And especially, I think they wanted to do more involvement with Feast and stuff anyway, which they introduced in No Way Home. So it's like, yeah, this is absolutely like a good stepping stone, and maybe that could also be a function with Miles. Like Miles works at Feast, and it's like, okay, cool.
No, but there's only so much we can do with in terms of like, hey, I look up to the Feast guy, then he betrays me. Fuck. It's like
there is. I don't want to just like retread the video game, but
you're retreading the video game and Peter being the most gullible hero of all time.
Maybe, yes.
How many times is this hero gonna be bad?
Yeah, it's funny. They kind of did write themselves into a bit of a corner. I know you've had the complaint of like they can't cast any other of these iconic villains, and I agree with you. They definitely should like just do new versions. But I feel like they've backed into a corner of just like, well, here's the name Otto Octavius. He's going to be suspicious. We can't just give him that.
Which is why we fucked up.
I know we kind of fucked up, but I think we could fix it later, but also we have to pull different villains now, so it's like, okay, fine, get Michael Mando and makes me Scorpion, get me a Mr. Negative, get me now I'm like, who else?
I mean, Spider-Man is the best rogue guy. He can go forever.
He does. It's pretty expansive. Get fucking Kingpin if you can. But
that was a boy. Yeah. That'd be amazing.
When I was in the void.
Yeah, that'd be funny to talk about. So yeah. Brand New Day hype continues to be very exciting. They did announce, as we were doing the podcast, they're doing a Creed spinoff called Delphi with young boxers at the gym.
Really? I didn't hear this.
The same boxing gym in Philly, I think. Right?
Right on.
Delphi. I think that gym. That's going to be cool. Michael B. Jordan producing. Where it is. There it is. Fallout. This is interesting. Fallout Season 3 renewed before Season 2 even drops. Season 2 is dropping in December. Did you watch Fallout?
I did not, because I didn't play the games, but I heard really good things.
I thought we talked about it. Who did I talk Fallout with?
Maybe your other podcast.
Maybe it was the other podcast, yeah. But season 2 drops this December. I would highly recommend watching it because I would love to discuss it week to week with you. It's one of those shows. I never played the games either.
Okay.
And I'm going in blind and I'm watching it and I'm just like, this is excellent. It's big, like Westworld vibes. It is by Jonathan Nolan. I think right. Doing the show. So that was cool.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I like Walton Goggins a lot. So
Walton Goggins is fantastic. You would love it. Yeah.
And then Ella Purnell is the lead.
Oh, and she's always hit and miss. I'm kidding. She's great. She's amazing.
So yeah, that'll be something intriguing to definitely look into because I heard nothing but good things for the first season. That would be good. Sorry, back up for a second. Creed, wasn't there a comic book announced for the Amara character, his daughter, Creed's daughter?
It was in discussions. I don't know if that's still the case. Like Creed they 4. Were gonna do like an anime or like a spinoff where like she's she's deaf, right? It's like it would be like I heard like the rumors of like it being MMA, not boxing.
Okay, I mean that'd be interesting. Cool. Like blending like the genre. Like it's like that's something that gets explored in some interesting aspects. Like in the second Ip Man movie is like a boxing scenario, but like you can't use this full Wing Chun.
Yeah.
So that's
that'd be very cool. I would like that a lot. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. So yeah, Spider-Man Noir 2026, Fallout coming out December. If that's the case, we could get a new season of Fallout every single year. But yeah, let's go into Godzilla X Kong. Let Nathan cook because I don't know what I'm watching. We'll watch those in a second. But here we go.
Yeah, let's
come on.
Do it.
Oh, sorry.
Do it.
I'm not sharing the screen. I'm an idiot.
Come on, do it. Do it.
Baka. Present.
I'm here. Kill me.
What is that from?
This is from Predator. The first one, Arnold. This is a bad Arnold impression, anyway. All right, give me a second to pull it up. I think we are good. You're on a black screen.
Yeah.
All right, all good.
Okay, great. Here it is. Galaxy. Godzilla X Kong Supernova. The sequel to Black Hole. Just kidding. Here we go. This is the one industry, the one agency. What is it called?
Monarch. Do you think it's actual footage for it? Do you think it's B-roll from Legacy of Monsters?
Oh wait, I might go to the YouTube version because I wonder what the subtitles are saying.
Oh, is there something? Okay.
There've been a number of Titan sightings today all over the world.
A number of kaiju sightings all over the world.
Yeah, Titans.
Yeah.
Something.
And we see Sidonia. I don't know where the fuck that is. Oh, Arizona. I'm stupid. Ignore me, guys. Ignore me.
Arizona. Oh, so I called this number.
Oh, what happened?
It was kind of like taking me like through aspects of just like, yeah, if you it legit was just like, yeah, if you hear of a Titan, report it. And it was dead ass taking a recording of me like reporting a sighting, and I was straight up just like, yeah, I think I saw
no way.
Anguirus around, like this armadillo character. I think you should do something about it because I really want them to fucking use Anguirus so bad. That's one of Godzilla's allies. So I'm like, fucking use him. I didn't say that, but I did recommend that. I was just like, please, goodbye.
Like, sorry, sir. This is Arby's.
Yeah, so it's I guess like they're actually taking some sort of like public recommendations of things from this number. So by all means, people call it. It's interesting.
That's cool.
You can also sign up for updates through a number with like John Wick does with its updates.
Interesting. Supernova. I have no idea what Supernova could possibly be.
I've heard some theories, and I'm interested to discuss. Supernova as a title, I am just kind of like, I like it better than the New Empire title, which I also wasn't too big on at the time, and I'm used to it.
What did New Empire even refer to? I guess like the other apes, New Empire.
Yeah, basically, yeah, pretty much, yeah, because they would have taken over the surface with Shima. Which, like, okay. But it was like that was the first time I ever heard a Godzilla title, and I was like, "What the fuck?" I just missed like the monster versus monster titles. I think.
I forgot to mention like the cast for this movie though. Caitlin Dever,
Indeed,
or Dever,
yeah,
Dan Stevens is returning. Jack
cool.
O'Connell, who played Remick in Sinners most recently.
Okay,
Matthew Modine from Stranger Things. He plays Eleven's father figure, character, creepy scientist, awful person.
Papa,
Papa, thank you.
right on.
Delroy Lindo from Sinners as well.
Cool.
Five Bloods.
Okay, cooking.
Alicia Debon Carey, who I love. She's from the 100. Or not the 100. The 100. Fear the Walking Dead. She's a fantastic actress. It's What's Inside is also a really great horror movie. Cool. And most recently, she played opposite Caitlin Dever in Apple Cider Vinegar for this year.
Okay.
And Sam Neill from I don't know where he's from though. I never heard of him.
All right. Thor Ragnarok. So
yes. I wanted to be his credit so badly. Sam Neill from Thor Ragnarok. People would lose their mind.
From Sam Neill from Jurassic World Dominion.
Yes. People would lose their minds. Oh my god.
From Event Horizon. But yeah, yes.
Event Horizon.
I hear it's a cult classic.
We should watch it, yeah. Anyways, so that's the cast. The cast is so stacked. Holy shit.
Stack cast. I think they found a better stride with the human characters recently. Like even like, when there was a character, there was like a character like Brian Tyree Henry is like not great in Godzilla versus Kong, but in Godzilla X Kong he was handled better.
Yes.
But ultimately, there's like clearly Team Kong is way more flesh, so we're gonna follow Gia and her mom, and it's like, okay, cool. It's like it's not too deep a characterization with Rebecca Hall, but also it's Rebecca Hall, so she's good.
And you kind of put a bow on the Rebecca Hall Gia storyline too there.
Yeah, and also I think Dan Stevens was a standout enjoyment from that last movie. Agreed. So I'll be glad to see him. And also all this new cast I think is a stellar lineup. I don't think Caitlin Dever can give a bad. I don't care what the writing is. I don't think she's capable of a bad performance.
Not at all. Yeah, she's gonna be the bright spot of the movie for sure.
For sure. I really hope she's like the lead. That being said, with all this, it has to be hopeful. It's probably going to be, the traditional, like we have Monarch agents and, we're communing with Kong. We got to follow them along, and Kong talks to Godzilla for us and shit like that. But Supernova, this suggests to a lot of people that the threat will be coming from space for a monster. Now, this isn't the first time the MonsterVerse has actually referenced, and credit to them, actually referenced a kaiju coming from space. Ghidorah was legit tied to his traditional origins of being a alien from space, a false god within this realm for Earth, and that was a really cool aspect. So the fact that they're committing again to something in space is really cool. I like the idea of exploring if it is other Godzilla villains from space, because that gives credence to a couple different ones. One that would be a really cool one is Gigan. He's kind of like this bear with me, he's kind of like a fucking robotic chicken shaped kaiju but he has like saw hands and a buzzsaw on his stomach. You'd have to look up a picture.
I think I know what you're talking about. I think that's one of the ones you had shown me. Yes, I do remember that one now.
But he's an interesting character, and he definitely has like a sillier design when he was introduced, but his modern designs in like some of the later eras of films have been a lot more intriguing and fierce. And it's like, okay, yeah, no, that's a good update of design. Something you'd see out of an anime, no doubt. But so that would be cool. A big one though that people are trying to push is the idea of Space Godzilla, which is effectively after one of the films when Mothra flies out into space for plot reasons. But that is to say, she had Godzilla cells within her wings, and as she was flying out into space, the cells transferred into, I think, a black hole and mutated with something in space to create a space organism version of Godzilla, which is basically like a bigger, meaner Godzilla with like insane crystal spikes on the shoulders and very like crystallized design on the spinal. And like
you said this was made from Mothra, or Mothra just made this creature, or what?
By accident. She just happened like from an encounter with Godzilla, had Godzilla's cells on her wings as she was like flying. And it just dispersed. But as I say, this is like a crystal-like Godzilla, a bigger, meaner one who like creates fortresses out of crystal, and obviously is like world-ending threat. So that would be intriguing. There's also a subplot of in that movie of Space Godzilla kidnapping Godzilla's son, which would be interesting if they wanted to give me my fucking son of Godzilla that I've been begging for. But maybe they won't. All that is to say, it would be intriguing to do that. However, I'm not getting my hopes up because I really feel like they just don't want to license stuff most of the time from Toho, or Toho won't let them. So I feel like this is just going to be another instance of an original kaiju, which I'm not saying they can't deliver on. Some stuff is cool. Like there's cool aspects with Shimo and Scar King, but ultimately they're not big standouts for me in the zeitgeist of Rogues Gallery. I've grown to like the Mutos from the first Godzilla film from a design standpoint. But yeah, all in all, I tend to just crave like the other stuff. Like they really like blew their budget, I guess, on King of the Monsters because Ghidorah was handled great in that. So was Rodan and Mothra, and I would like to see more of them. It's like I'm begging for Anguirus. I fucking called the number, but yeah, I don't foresee them.
You don't think it's like a rights thing, right? Where they'd have to create new ones or something? Like they
sometimes it is. Even in regards to the last movie, they didn't think they were going to get rights to Mothra last movie. That's why they created a whole new kaiju that was like connected to this underground civilization in Hollow Earth. This original flying creature. There's concept art of it you can literally find. But ultimately they ended up deciding to scrap it because like, oh shit, we can put Mothra in it. That's going to make way more numbers of money for us. Like let's absolutely do that, and it's more serving to our connectivity to the monster, even though Mothra not necessarily is like tied to something like this, but they're like, hey, we can use it, fuck it. Which I'm like, okay, cool. I like seeing Mothra again, so props there. But I mean, I don't know if that means they're opening the door to being able to use different licensings for the Toho catalog again. I would hope so. That would be nice, and that would, lend credence to a bit more excitement here. But I would just have to wait and see what the actual Titan's going to be that they're facing. It is interesting, the idea that Godzilla and Kong have become a team savior for the planet in this.
I know, right?
Like at this point, I don't think they would make a standalone film for either of them anymore. I feel like they're now can join them at the hip permanently, which is a little bit of a bummer because I like the idea of them facing stuff alone and like showcasing their power by themselves.
Me too, but I think they're just stuck into this whole co-op.
Yeah, it's proven to make them money because I know like their last two standalones didn't finance well, but then when they paired them together, it was like, hey, we did it, so we can't stop. Maybe we'll see more solo stuff when we're in Monarch Season 2, when we're before their team up in the timeline. We can see how they're functioning.
I cannot wait for Monarch Season 2. Is that coming out this year? Hopefully.
Is it? That'd be nice.
Yeah. Maybe there's a release date. But yeah, that's cool. Let's jump into the other two trailers that we see here. Filming wrapped in March of this year. So how long does VFX take for the show?
Fair, but I mean, it's funny because like they have the Godzilla model on hand, but then like other creatures they got to build up. But also a lot of it's like we're globetrotting and like, why did you cheat on mom?
Why did you cheat on mom?
We're still waiting. We're still waiting to know why you made a second family.
It's funny, but it is like one of the most compelling questions. So yeah, because the human stuff was interesting in that show. And let's end here on the long walk.
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
I'm Ray Garrett. You can call me Ray.
This is apparently a lot of people's favorite Stephen King short story.
I did hear about this. Is vaguely
Mark Hamill.
Okay, let's just watch the trailer.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here.
Totally.
I have seen this one, by the way. Yeah.
This has been more of the standby.
You can call me Ray.
Type of story.
And Golden's the name. Walking's my game.
I'm loving the cast.
I know. I love David from Alien Covenant.
The very
Romulus.
first long walk years
Romulus,
ago to inspire everyday people.
Smile, boys. You're on candid camera. Man, you gotta not think about the things out of your control. Think about your plan.
Personally, I can't stop thinking about all that money.
I don't think y'all can win.
Let's get that copyright, baby. Get that music.
That's right. Just keep walking.
Oh no, this is unsettling. Hold on.
Second warning. Third warning.
Jesus.
Wow.
Takes
Oh
heavy
my
sack
God.
to sign up for this contest.
The what?
I'm not going to go through the whole rule book, but it boils down to this. If you fall below the
Hunger
speed of
Games
3
director.
miles per hour,
Right
you
on.
get your ticket.
Apparently in the book, by the way, it was 4 miles per hour, not 3. But I don't know, that not a huge difference, but you know.
Probably like keeping like realistic to you.
Walk
Right?
until there's only one of you left.
And this Philip Seymour Hoffman's son as
Who's
well.
ready to win?
Yes. Luke Skywalker. Crazy.
That was Mark. Oh my God.
That's Mark. Yeah.
This is walk or die.
Well, what happens if you come down to the final 2 best friends,
You'll
Evan?
walk as long as you can.
I'm tipping the motherfucker.
It's it's the Hunger Games.
I'm beating your ass.
Yeah, Evan.
Stop. Brothers, your brain.
Woo.
And the blood will flow suddenly. There's one winner.
Oh my God.
And no finish line.
God damn.
Wow. Oh God, let me go see that now. Ooh.
What a great premise.
That's
What
a great. How's this never been adapted?
Right? Like, come on.
We're just like, we can't make walking exciting. Yes, you can.
Like, that looks so insane. I like seeing creepy Mark Hamill.
Yeah, we don't really see him as a villain often.
Yeah, that was really cool. A lot of disturbing imagery here too. You know, just the look of people walking with a broken leg there.
Yeah.
You know, it's right, like, oh my
Ooh.
God. Oh my God.
Damn.
Like,
Oh,
yeah.
just walking on it.
Like, yeah, I'm just not gonna stop there.
Holy shit, man.
Like, yeah, I like the ramping up of the intensity at the beginning. People are just having fun. Like, yeah, we're doing this, guys. It's just like, yeah, eventually we're gonna get tired.
Man.
God damn. But yeah, great trailer day. Great trailer day.
Totally.
A lot of great upcoming movies and TV shows. This year, we're living in the renaissance of great TV, and I think movies after Sinners and Thunderbolts, back-to-back great stuff. Final Destination is this week. What's coming up next? Mission Impossible coming up soon.
Lilo and Stitch could hit.
What?
Lilo and Stitch might hit.
Yeah, my hit. Karate Kid Legends could be fun. Never know.
Karate Kid Legends, we're right around the corner from the new Jurassic World with Gareth.
Yeah, coming out in July. July's going to be a feast.
Yeah, June even, I think.
And June too, right? A new Pixar movie in Elio coming out.
Yeah. Fantastic Four is coming up. Summer movie season, baby. It is. Oh, and Superman. Shit.
Superman. Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. So yeah, long podcast, 2 hours, 34 minutes. But that's how we do it here on Micah with T. We do all the stuff. I thought this was gonna be a short one too. I was like, we have Last of Us, maybe a few movie news, but we go long here.
We did the movie news in an hour. We just talked about Last of Us for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I was watching it and I was like, I don't think there's gonna be too deep to dive in, but no.
That's when you're talking to the wrong person, baby.
From the makers of the 3-hour podcast for the game, which honestly, that's pretty like a tight runtime for what we.
I know, yeah. Now, modern, current Evan and Nathan, we could talk for like 4 hours about that game.
4 or 5, could be 6.
It'll probably be like 2 hours on Ellie Day 1 alone.
Yeah.
But yeah, find me on Twitter, guys. Harris EV9. Like I said, the TV is just incredible. Tomorrow is sadly The last 3
Oh.
episodes of Andor. The last episode of Andor. That sucks.
That's insane. I'll be live for that. Probably crying.
Yeah.
Before logging off and going to immediately watch Rogue One.
Right. So 3 episodes of Andor. Probably, I think we should do Thursday. So I like doing it Thursday so I can soak in the episode a bit more. But either way, yeah, Thursday, Wednesday doesn't matter. I'm watching again this South Korean game show called The Devil's Plan. If anybody is a fan of social strategy and math and just like fun board games, like it is such a great show. Very, very fun. What else am I watching these days? Last of Us. That's about it. I'll be on Where Heartbreak Feels Good tomorrow, going over everything we watched in April and a little bit of May for Thunderbolts. So that'd be it.
All right, you can follow me at _TimeBlazer, making a show called Time Blazer with co-star and creative consultant Evan Harris.
Playing Ben, who would destroy the long walk. He would never stop walking. He wouldn't need to. I can zip, zap, zoom.
That's true. Ben doesn't need to walk, technically speaking. But it's not technically flying either. So yeah, if you guys enjoy this, make sure you like button, subscribe, not already, ring the bell so you miss coverage on all things movie and TV. Maybe video game. And that being said, hope you have a great day. Catch you guys next time.